Okay, Joe, so quite a lot of changes to this. I'll send the files to you soon. I'll just show you how it's running for now. So you're still running start custom wizard, run that, load your geometry, grab the ring, next. I'll fix that in a minute. I'm actually removing this radio dial completely, and I will input some fixture sizes once we figure out what fixture we're using. Alright, in the meantime I'll set that down to 6. Alright, and use that, create the supports, next, and it previously, the change I've made now, previously, irrespective of what tool you picked here, it forced this Roland flat end for all the profiling operations. Okay, so what I've done is I've changed the code so that the tool you pick over here will be used through all the operations. I'll explain to you that why I do that in a minute. Alright, so we go next and create the parts. So basically all the 2D operations here, these 2D operations, that 2D operation, was all being forced, it was manually being forced in the code to use I'll show you where it is. Was manually being forced to use that Roland cutter. Let me pull it up. 13, 14, 15. So okay, it was being forced to use this Roland over here. So I remarked that out, and what I've also done is those extremely long pathing times. You'll see the feed rate over here was using Roland's retarded 1:15 speed ratio, alright, 1:20, whatever it is they use, I think millimeters per second, or I don't know. So I've changed that to a normal amount, 600 mm, and the feed rate for dry cutting to spindle speed for dry cutting 12.5. Alright, we can go in and change those after. That's not a biggie. I'm just going to go edit. I'm going to show you something else I changed. Find crisp. Let's go all the way up. Find next. There we go. Alright, so next, okay. Alright, what I've changed is there's an offset over here. I think even Lex has remarked inside here that there's a beta test risk with this because the offset to X using Roland's big clamp is an issue. So I'm going to dump the code for the big clamp, we don't need it, and the code for my Brent's arbor is in this area over here. Change this relevant to your own X, right? So mine's 29.6, you'll have to figure out what yours is. So anyway, next part of this is going to be just, now that you've created the parts, let's go calculate tool paths, and I'm going to just pause this while it's doing that. Okay, so they're all calculated now. So there's still a lot of superfluous pathing that I don't want, alright, but I haven't figured out how to delete it yet. This roughing and contour lines in the rotation paths, they can go, they don't really serve any purpose. The reality of it doesn't take that much longer to run in the path because the step over on them is quite rough. So to break you down through what I've changed in here, I figured out in the meantime how to change what it is you're looking at. Okay, so let's turn them off one at a time. So the roughing pass, I don't want to have to use the flat end mill for doing roughing. So what I've done is I've changed the step over. I went in and changed the coding for the step down being a full tool width to being only a half of the tool width. And when I say tool width, I'm talking about the tool holder, which is 317. Hang on a second. Sorry, I just quiet the boys down there. So as you can see, that's quite a rough step over. Alright, so it'll chunk through there in two lots of steps, which is fairly low, so you can probably run at 6, 7, 8, and 6, 7, 8, 900 mil even. And it'll go down in 2 sets of steps to do the roughing. then it's going to go in and do this contour lines. I'm stuffed if I know what a contour line is, what purpose it serves. I have no idea. If you're going to be cutting a final path over all of this anyway, I'm not entirely sure what that does. Alright, so your finishing, which cuts everything that the contour lines was doing anyway, is here. So the only bit of code that I want to change, and let me see if I can open that again while I've got the thing open, is load parts, new parts, open with notepad, edit, find Chris. Now this time find it, so we can next, there we go. Alright, so down in here you can add this command, alright, and then in this section here, double steps, it's a double precision integer for step size and for distance. You can manually put in what you want, 003, 0025, whatever it is you like, because there seems to be no sort of differentiation between the different paths when you do it, but we can look at that when we get there. So this part, as far as I know, works well. I would like to get it to cut a tad below 0, because, you know, just in case you've got a misalignment in your machine Z, it's nice to have it down there. Alright. So after that we've got the 2D drill holes, and what I've done is I've copied these from the path that was on the bottom, because the bottom path, the Roland thing, only goes through 1/2 of the ring. So we're going to use our tapered cutter. So this is still coded for the tapered cutter. Alright, see, 0.127 ball end. So that's going to go down, it's going to cut 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's going to cut its way down, and what you're going to end up with is a taper in the wall. Alright, I've made this about 5% too small, so that by the time you come open over here, it's going to go onto branch arbor and it's going to get a little bit stuck near the bottom. My theory is that as long as the inside area is still square, it's going to push over just that bottom part nice and tight, and because the flat end is going to push up against branch arbor, you can't be off in alignment anywhere. Alright, so you can still cut this entire thing with a tapered cutter. However, if we want to work on making a tapered arbor for the end of the fixture, that's fine. Alright, so that's the 2D drill holes from this side. These are here for reference only, because like I said, I'm not sure how to delete them out of here without causing problems. So that's just going to repeat the same bits of code running down, down, down. Okay, right, so I'm going to turn them off, and we've got a flat side 2, which basically is a repetition of the first side. Okay, you've got some roughing, contour lines and some finishing, and then 2D drill holes, which is going to run through there. Let me just take that off. Whoops. Okay, so they're basically only going to go to 0 or something anyway. Let's turn them off. So it's going to cut the same way down to 0 from the other side, right? So I'd like to delete these ones if I can, these 3 over here. When I try to delete them, they come back. So there's somewhere in the code I'm missing that calls them. When I delete them from the new parts HTML file, it loads them anyhow. So they obviously reference somewhere else that I need to find. But that's a minor issue for now. Okay. Then, like I said, in the rotational parts, the roughing and the contour lines I'm not interested in at all. Alright, they mean nothing to me. This, however, is what we're after. So it was for this section that I was thinking, because mostly your rotary is your outside areas of your ring where you want high detail. So this is where I was thinking you'd go in and set up a double or triple of your resolution. Okay, because the precision is only 50 micron for this, to try and keep it fast. So let's discuss what we were talking about on. So basically, as it is, this thing is done. It's ready. You can cut with this. That offset is 29.6 mil over there. All right, because that's where my branch arbor, where it slides in hard to the rotary and then to the edge plus 3 mil will give you 29.6. Yours is obviously going to be different. I don't know what it is you think you're going to need over there for yours. All right, so the fixture part we were talking about, I reckon that oopsie, Control Z, what we discussed would work quite nicely. So if this was your base plate, as it were, that was keyed to fit into something drilled with 1-inch drill holes like we've got on the Minitechs, you could actually screw this down to your table and tram it or shim it to be square to your rotary face. Okay, so this part would have to be square, and then this part over here, so this would also be to adjust your height up and down. Okay, so the same way the current Minitech rotary is faced, you've got 4 bolts in the corners and 4 bolts to lower or drop the surface area, the surface to the table. So you would use this with that on there to just lay it on and check that your heights are square up that way, and then this part would stay bolted to the table. Over here you'd have probably 2 bolts running through with a taper, so that this part can only screw on straight every time you need it. This way you can take off all this section when you don't need it, and you can access your table and your rotary. Now I don't know what this thing is you were talking about over here, your wobbler juicy magoozit. I think that would need to go in this side here to take out any mild run out between the rotary face and the rest of the fixture. Okay, because the fixture is going to be trammed to the rotary via this, but every time you close the chuck key you're going to have a slight offset. So I'm not sure what you call this. Let's have a look. Joe. Actually, I'm not going to open that conversation because we have quite dirty conversations, but I think you know what it's called, your hobbler gobbler grommet, whatever it is. So we will work out what that offset is from there to X, set that up as part of the program, and you're done. So this would rotate here, that would take out all the run out, the minor run out between there and the fixture, and really that's job done. We're just about done with it. I don't see any other problems other than discussing the niceties of how you're going to hold that, and I was wondering if you could maybe reduce this down to like a 2mm slice down this part, because all it really is to hold the wax. So if you can screw your wax down with 2 screws there and there and bring this section down so it's very thin, that would allow you to tilt this at 45 degrees and do indexes without the risk of your cutter slamming into the aluminium. Alright, so good luck with prototyping that one for now. Stay in touch with me and we'll work it out. Cheers, Chris out.